Hello, it's your drug dealer. I thought I'd call in case you needed anything at all. You know, you can always call me just to talk, but I mostly want to sell you drugs. Drug dealer.
Attention all pharmacy industry professionals. This isn't your grandfather's podcast. This is...
What the hell are you talking about? Our grandfathers never even listened to podcasts. The internet wasn't even around.
Shut your pie hole. My grandfather loves podcasts, and so does my maka.
Your what?
This is the RXRated Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the RXRated Podcast. This podcast, I'll be doing it solo. My partner in crime couldn't make it, but the show must go on. First, I wanted to say, if you haven't had a chance to go to my YouTube channel, RX Comedy, check out my latest video, what it's like in the pharmacy during flu season. I thought it was funny. Somebody commented that how they hated working in the pharmacy, but sometimes they think about what it's like to be in someone's sex dungeon and that life could be worse, and that's how they get through the day. Maybe it's just me, but I'd rather probably be in somebody's sex dungeon than working in retail pharmacy. I've never been in a sex dungeon, but I kind of imagine that it's somewhat consensual, like you've consented to be screwed over. But in retail pharmacy, we get screwed without consent. So that's where I think there's a little bit of a difference there. A sex dungeon, especially during flu season, is way better than being in the pharmacy. But that's just my opinion. I recently read that there was 10 people at an Oklahoma care facility for people with intellectual disabilities were hospitalized after they were apparently accidentally injected with, to believe, insulin rather than flu shots. I don't know how that mistake happens. A lot of times when I see these errors that are made by pharmacists, and this was actually this facility, I guess they hired a pharmacist, so this was done by a pharmacist. Almost any time I hear or read about a medication error, I generally can see a situation of how that happened or why that might have occurred. But this one, accidentally injecting people with insulin instead of flu shots, I guess at least in the retail setting, they're in two separate refrigerators, so that definitely wouldn't happen, at least at my location. And maybe I can see it happening once, but 10 times? That just means you're not paying attention if you did that 10 times. I mean, I don't even know how somebody could look at an insulin bottle and read it 10 times and accidentally think that that was a flu vaccine. I mean, but I don't know what will happen. I don't know how this country looks at med errors. I know John Hopkins, I don't know, I think it was sometime this year they released a study that said that medication errors were the third leading cause of death in this country, which is crazy. You would think with information like that, there'd be more rules in place to make sure that retail pharmacies are adequately staffed, but I don't know. I guess people just don't care. I was reading an article and somebody wrote in the comments, I wonder if an anti-vaxxer switched the bottles. I thought it was kind of a funny comment, even though the situation isn't laughing matter. Everybody that was injected with the insulin is okay, so there was no death. So I guess it could have been a lot worse. I don't know. They didn't. There was no information on how the pharmacist made the mistake. I guess they're still investigating that, but I would definitely like to follow up to see how that mistake could have occurred. This is kind of funny. I was reading this study, and it said graduates would spend a week in jail if it wiped out their student loans. A week? Hell, I'd spend a whole year in jail. They meant it'd wipe out all of my student loans. If they said, you know what, Maurice, if you go to jail for a year, we'll wipe out your student loans, I'd be on the first bus to the jail facility. I mean, I think retail pharmacy prepared me for jail life anyway. Like, what could be worse? At least in jail, I probably could pee when I wanted. When I go to work, we're so busy, I don't even eat. At least in jail, I'd get to eat. It's kind of sad that I would risk getting stabbed or raped or whatever happens in jail to wipe away my student loans. They said 44.7 million Americans have student loan debt, which is the second highest consumer debt category, second behind mortgages. It said in the study, 51% of people would shave their head to wipe away their student loan debt, which who wouldn't shave their head? I'd have to imagine that the other 49% of those people were probably women, because women probably wouldn't want to shave their heads, but 49% of people would walk to work for a month to wipe away their student loan debts. I don't know about that one. I guess it depends on how far you live from your workplace. 40% of people will relive high school. I don't know if I would relive high school because I don't like being told what to do, at least by my parents. Maybe if you could go back in time and relive high school and you still knew the future, like if I went back to high school, I was like, you know what? I'll invent Facebook when I graduate and I'll be rich. Then I'd go back. I would just take all the computer science classes and just skip history every day. And it said 39% of people would spend a week in jail. Only 39? I guess jail is a tough place, but I don't know, man. Jail, retail pharmacy, I mean, can't be that much worse. I was reading this article. It says CVS and Walgreens will soon be flying drugs directly to you using drones. I believe on Monday, UPS announced that it is partnering with CVS to launch drone delivery for the pharmacy, where drones will carry both prescriptions and other convenience products to people's homes. I believe it said Walgreens is doing something similar, but they're only doing over-the-counter medications, as well as convenience items like tampons, chips, and ibuprofen. I guess Walgreens is going to let CVS get sued first before they start delivering medications. I was reading a lot of comments. A lot of people said this was a bad idea due to liability. But I think this is a fabulous idea. I really don't care about liability because Walgreens or CVS or whoever, whichever pharmacy gets sued, that doesn't affect me. I always laugh when customers say, well, I'm going to sue. I don't care if you sue. I don't own this place. Hell, if you break me off a piece, I might help. I really love drones. pharmacies using drones for several reasons. One, I think in certain situations, like for example, about 2 weeks ago, we had a guy come through drive-thru to pick up prescriptions for his wife. And 3 of the medicines were ready. Of course, the hydrocodone, I believe, was held up because the pharmacist was calling the doctor's office because the patient was on a benzo, and to get the override, they had to call the doctor first. So the person who was working in drive-thru was somebody that was on the floor that just came back to the pharmacy to help. So they didn't realize that there was a 4th prescription. This guy called back upset. He's like, "You idiots forgot to give me my wife's pain medicine. Blah, blah, blah. I hate you. You're the worst pharmacy ever." So I explained to him. I apologized. I said the person that was ringing you up doesn't normally work in the pharmacy. They were just trying to help out. So the guy came back to the store, of course, was still yelling. That would have been a perfect time for me to get the medication ready. Like, "You know what, sir? I apologize. Don't worry. I have a drone coming to your house as we speak." I think we should get drones. I want drones for all my problem customers. You know, I probably have 5 customers that I could think that I wish I had a drone. So anytime their prescription was ready, we'll just send a drone to their house or their job, so I don't have to see them again. Be like, "Hey, Mrs. Johnson, your prescription's ready." "Okay, well, I'll be in there later today." No. Don't worry about it. The medication's coming to you. And hear me out. Why I like drones the most, I think we could use drones to get rid of drive-thru. Or at least maybe just use drive-thru just to drop off prescriptions. So I say that every pharmacy should take 5 to 10 spots in the parking lot, right? You number them 1 through 10. Each spot has a buzzer. Patient drives into, let's say, lane 3 to hit the buzzer. They say their name and date of birth. You verify the information. You send a drone from the pharmacy to lane 3. Give them the medicine to come back. Get rid of the drive-thru. I don't want no drive-thru. Just give me 10 lanes, and we'll send a drone out to each spot. And then that way we can get rid of drive-thru. I mean, if they use drones that way, I'm all for it. Because that drive-thru is something else. But I guess the downfall to having drones is, I think obesity would increase. I mean, think about it. People don't even want to, when you tell somebody to come in from the drive-thru, they have a fit. Some people, their only exercise that they get is the walk from the house to the car and back when they get home, getting out of the car back to the house. You take that away, they don't even have to walk to the car, they'll get no exercise. And some of these people, especially some of these diabetics, they get so much Lantus, Humalog, and Metformin. I don't even know if the drone is strong enough to carry all this. More than likely, if they actually use drones, especially if drones were able to take controlled medications, I could see drug addicts in the bushes with BB guns trying to shoot down every drone, hoping it was some C2 pain medicine. I don't know. A lot of people don't like drones, but I want all the drones. Get me a fleet of them and get rid of that drive-thru. That's my 15-minute spiel. I know a lot of times people only get 15-minute breaks or 30-minute lunches, so Try to keep the podcast short. If there's anything you would like me to talk about, don't forget to email doctorofcomedy@gmail.com. I'm going to start uploading previous podcasts so you could listen. And as always, please share. Again, if anything you want us to talk about on our next podcast, email your topics, doctorofcomedy@gmail.com, or go to my Facebook page and shoot me a message. Bye-bye.